Hello and welcome to this Affinity Software tutorial. Now this will work the same in Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer and Affinity Publisher. Now it's probably more relevant in Designer and Publisher because those two will use text more often, but obviously you can use text in Affinity Photo. Now someone asked in one of the Facebook groups whether it was possible to resize the font drop-down menu in Affinity Designer is what they wanted, but so I'm going to use Affinity Designer for this. So if once you've got your something open and you're on the text tool, you have access to the font selection from up here, and it is this drop-down window which I assume they want to resize so they can see what the font looks like better, would be my guess. And if I move the cursor to the edge, it doesn't alter to a double-ended arrow, which to me means that you can't resize it, and not even come into a corner, so you cannot resize that either. Now I'm on a PC, I've never used a Mac, but I'm assuming the Mac version will be working exactly the same way, and I would guess the iPad version, which again I know nothing about, will work in the same way. So if you can't alter the font window, the only other option that I can see is to open the Glyph Browser. If you come up to the View menu, down to Studio, and then you have Glyph Browser. Now this may not be the default size, I've been tinkering with it so the sizes varies and it does remember the last way it was set up, but the Glyph Browser will shows you all the available letters and numbers and glyphs that are available for every font. And this you can resize, because you can see if I put the cursor over the edges, you get that double-ended arrow, which means I can click and resize this. Let's make this as big as I can within that window, and then all you got to do is pick the font you want to have a look at. Now even this window is a bit bigger than what was available from up there, but not by much. So let's go with Arial, as that's a pretty bog standard font. So you have all the available letters, glyphs, and there is literally thousands of possible glyphs and letters in this particular font. You won't get it in all fonts, but this one is got quite a vast selection. Now up next to this, close the panel cross up here, there's a little menu. If you click on that, you can change the size of how these are displayed. So it is set on medium size, so if I do largest size, that is the largest size that this font can be viewed at in the window. So that is how you can view the fonts, one in their entirety and two in a bigger size. If I pick one that probably doesn't have so many, let's try this one. Yeah, see there's only the basic alphabet in this particular font in the bold, and I don't know about the light. Yeah, the light has version, there's not that many options, there's no extra glyphs with this particular font. So that I hope will answer the person's questions about how to view them better. Now just to show that these will work in the same in all the programs, this is Affinity Photo, View, Studio, and you have the Glyph Browser there, and this is Publisher again, View, Studio, and you've got the Glyph Browser in that. So you've got the Glyph Browser in all 3 programs. Now you do also, I mean, on a PC you do have this. I don't know whether you have this available on Macs. I'm guessing there are Mac versions around, but within Windows there is a character map, and this is the basic character map that comes with Windows. You just need to type character map in the search engine and you'll find it. I'm not certain whether this can be resized. It doesn't look like it can. So that is also available, but also for, I think it's the Windows Store, you can download a free version of a different character map, which is much better, and it will display the fonts in a much larger size. So if you need a character map outside of Affinity, where you can use the Glyph Browser, and you're on a PC, you can use the character maps rather than sort of if you don't have access to the Glyph Browser. So how would you use this? Well, if you select whatever it is you want, let's pick an unusual glyph rather than a letter you can access. What is it? This is an Arabic letter. So if I highlight that, and let me just move this out the way. It might help if I had a layer for it to go on to. And I'll just double click that, and it has now put that character on into my document. So that's, you know, a quick and easy way of just getting various glyphs and designs that aren't readily available via the keyboard. So hopefully this answers that gentleman's question. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.